What's going on? We are now getting closer and closer to the start of the 2022 NFL season as the NFL has officially released a full schedule for all teams, including the Carolina Panthers, the team that we care about the most. Hey, Chris Jenkins, credentialed member of the media, cover the Carolina Panthers for Charlotte Vibe. And yeah, we're just going to have a quick conversation about the schedule that's now been out there for a little bit more than 30 minutes. And throughout the day, the schedule was trickling in here. You get about a week here and a week there that you get a hold of. Something that I was watching closely, and this is going to be a spoiler alert about this schedule, is the Panthers. The NFL is now playing a game in Germany, and the Panthers are one of the teams that were awarded a license to, market their team in Germany. And then we also play the Tampa Bay Bucks, which is an in-division game. So I'm thinking, hey, we played in London a couple years ago, maybe 3 years ago. Why not play in Germany? Because we both have licenses. Anyway, spoiler alert, we are not playing in Germany, unfortunately. So we're just going to, again, touch on this list one by one of the Carolina Panthers and what they have. And as always, interactive show. So if you have some questions, some comments, please let me know. And also big news. So that the Panthers have been having some OTAs, and finally your boy's allowed to watch practice. So tomorrow, I have some personal things going on. If you guys know, I have a newborn 7-month-old. Not adjusted to daycare pretty well, so we keep having to deal with some recent sicknesses. But I am tentatively supposed to be at practice tomorrow, and if I am, can't wait for you all to tune in and share with you what I see, getting a chance to see a lot of these first-round draft picks up close and personal. But let's go ahead and touch on this draft schedule. What's up, Anthony Rochelle? Again, appreciate everybody for tuning in. Continue to tune in, continue to like, subscribe. It's going to be a fun season coming up, and I plan and will be the most accessible journalist that covers the Carolina Panthers to get all your questions answered. So that's a good reason to make sure that you subscribe to the channel. So let's go ahead and get started with going over this list. Carolina Panthers, I'm going to take this quarter by quarter. So we're going to first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, going over the games and kind of pointing out some things. So first up, we get to open up with a home game against the Cleveland Browns. Now, whether or not Deshaun Watson will be there, we don't know. But we will open up the game season against the Cleveland Browns on September the 11th. Now, week 2, you normally could see a few Carolina Panthers, but James Bradbury, who was our starting cornerback, went to the New York Giants, having a good time up there in terms of success. Even made it to the Pro Bowl, where he was recently released by the New York Giants. There's talk, hey, will he come to Charlotte or not? Don't really think that's a big possibility. Love James as a person, would love to see him back, but we will see Graham Gano. He currently plays for the New York Giants. So that game will be in New York on September the 18th at 1 o'clock. So then we get to week 3, where we get our first division matchup against the Peytonless New Orleans Saints. So that'll be our first home game that is also, well, not our first home game, but our first divisional game, and it will be at home. So we get to play the Saints early on there. And then we host the Arizona Cardinals on October the 2nd. And that is as close to a primetime game as you're going to get. I shouldn't say that. It is a late start. It's 4:05 start for that game versus the Arizona Cardinals. Will or will not Kyler Murray be there? So at this point, the Panthers will have played 1 out of 4 games against an NFC South opponent, and they would have played, looks like 3. The first 3 out of 4 will be home games. First 3 out of 4 will be home games. A few comments here that we're going to pop up. Taylor Style says this season gonna be ugly good, I hope is what you're saying, Taylor. I don't see how it's gonna be ugly bad. I mean, I like this video isn't about our personnel and the changes that we made, but I really like that draft. So I don't foresee that it's going to be an ugly season. I could be wrong. Hey, Chris, is playoff or rule equals out? Panthers catch a break since DeAndre Hopkins won't play due to a suspension. Thank you much for pointing that out, Shakid, that they will not have DeAndre Hopkins due to a suspension. So let's continue to work through this list. Let's go in the second quarter of the season. Carolina Panthers play the San Francisco 49ers. It's going to be on October the 9th. That is another 4 o'clock game here at Bank of America Stadium. I sure hope that this matchup is prettier than the last matchup against the San Francisco 49ers, which was out there in San Francisco. Had a chance to go out there. My first time visiting San Francisco. Pretty cool place, pretty cool stadium, pretty bad beating that they put on the Carolina Panthers back then. So some guys still on this team from back then with a chance for redemption here at Bank of America Stadium as we take on the San Francisco 49ers. Now, we then travel out west, long trip to play the Los Angeles Rams on October 16th. That is as well a 4 o'clock game. And then now we play our second out of NFC South game. Play what is, what was going to be a team without Tom Brady to now a team with Tom Brady to was a team with Bruce Arians, and now it's not a team with Bruce Arians, but gives us a chance to continue to get ourselves together, and that we have our early game against New Orleans Saints. I think that's in week 3, and then we don't have another divisional matchup until week 7. All right, so divisional games are important, not as super duper important as they used to be, in that it doesn't dictate playoff seeding like it used to be, but important because you play these teams twice. So it could add up if you're not playing against your division. We then travel to Atlanta for a game at 1 o'clock on October the 30th. And so that puts us at 3 out of 8. And then let's go ahead and go to the third quarter of the season. Let me check on some of these comments that are coming here. Anthony Rochelle says, I hope this season is better than last season. I hope so too, man. I hope so too. But we got the Cincinnati Bengals versus the Carolina Panthers. That's on November the 6th. That's a road game for us. And then we're back at home versus the Atlanta Falcons on November 10th. Notice anything there? I'll let you sit here and wait for it. November 10th. At 8:15 p.m. So that only means that I'm going to probably get home about 3 o'clock in the morning. Late games are so long to work. They're cool to watch. Just as a fan, to be at home after working, get a chance to eat and sit down and watch the game. But when you're working, it's a completely different ball game. Very long day. But I love seeing the team play under the lights. I love bringing all the action for that game. So that will be our only prime time game, which is Thursday night against the Atlanta Falcons. So I'm glad that we did not get the trip to London. We didn't get the trip to Germany. Never expected us to play in Mexico. But we do hold on and get a game Thursday night against the Atlanta Falcons. So, the NFL, in my opinion, they always schedule these games based on popularity or where they think that you may be doing, how well they think you may be faring for the season. So with only one primetime game, feel like, the verdict is not yet out on how good this Carolina Panthers team will be. Let's keep on moving through the list. I'm sorry, wrong slide. We then host the Baltimore Ravens on November 20th at 1 o'clock. And I'm sorry, Baltimore Ravens is a road game. I'm sorry, correction. Baltimore Ravens is a road game. And then we play the Denver Broncos rematch of Super Bowl 50. Even though I like to think at this point we've all forgotten, not forgotten, but that whole Denver Bronco thing is way in the back of our heads. But we do play them here in Carolina, week 12, and then we get a bye. We finally get a bye week 13. So yet another long season. I don't know if that's as long as you can go without having a bye. Maybe you can go longer, but it's definitely a pretty long time without a bye. Again, that bye does not come until week 13. You always find a way to make the most of it. If you get one early, you say, hey, you get a break, get a chance to regroup and check out things and come back stronger. You have one late, you say, hey, we may be banged up. It's our last chance to catch our breath, heal up, and try to have a nice, strong finish to the season. So I'm sure that scenario of just say, hey, we get to get a nice rest before we finish out strong is the approach that this team will take. Finishing up the fourth quarter of the season. Lots of road games. 3 out of the last 5 games are road games. We start with a long trip, another West Coast trip out to Seattle on December the 11th to take on the Seattle Seahawks. We return back home week 15, December 18th to take on the Pittsburgh Steelers, the former team that our owner, David Tepper, was a partial owner of, will be here in Charlotte. We then play a second home game, at least in this quarter, in December, versus the Detroit Lions, and that game is on Christmas Eve. So the NFL is now playing some games on Christmas Day. We will not be playing on Christmas Day. We'll be playing on Christmas Eve. That'll be a Saturday. So we have a Thursday game, and then we have a Saturday game for that Christmas Eve matchup against the Detroit Lions. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, then we travel there to Tampa on January 1st. So yet again, another good place to be for New Year's Eve. I think last year might have been in New Orleans. Very good place to be for New Year's Eve. And sunny, warm Tampa, as I think, in my opinion, a great place to be in January for New Year's Eve as well. And then we finish off week 18 week 18 in New Orleans. We finish up last 2 games on the road. Last 2 games are on the road, and let's see, last 2 games are NFC South games. So very important that we do finish strong. So that week 13 bye could be something that is the difference between us making the playoffs as we get a chance to rest and again make some realignments of things and finish strong against two divisional opponents in the Saints and the Buccaneers. So we finish on the road. That last game against the New Orleans Saints will be on January 7th or January the 8th. So as you know, the NFL lately has started to give a little flex. Well, flex is something different. But last 2 games of the season, they'll start to say, well, you're either going to play on a Saturday or a Sunday. I believe last year ours was against the Bills, the game that was a Saturday or a Sunday. So there you go. Again, just wanted to quickly go over the schedule release for the Carolina Panthers. I always invite you to hit the like button if you haven't done so. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. We get tomorrow again. Tomorrow, the media gets their first chance to see these new draft picks and OTAs here in Charlotte. So we'll get to see the team practice on Friday as well as Saturday. We have a chance to talk with players as well as coaches after those practices. So look for some more content coming. Before I conclude, let me go ahead and check out some of these comments that have come up. I don't get why the Panthers' last game is week 16. It should have been week 17 home game. What week do we play Thursday night football? So the Thursday night football, Vincent, that is going to be week 10. Week 10 will be the Thursday night football matchup against the Atlanta Falcons. What's going on, Chris Johnson? Appreciate you tuning in. And some people are not looking forward to this season. Saying 0-17. 0-17. I hope that's not the case. And then we got a 10-7 prediction from Shaq Hagan. So that's it. Appreciate you tuning in. Continue to tune in. I'm Chris Jenkins reporting for Charlotte Vibe. Thank you all very much for watching and see you tomorrow.